Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to another video, and today's topic is going to be highly important. Let's talk about the DAO. The DAO is a difficult to understand animal, and thank God we do have some guidance on how to navigate around this. Augustine has put up a post about a month ago, November the 12th, giving us some insights on what the actual process is to submit an idea, a proposal, for the community to decide on whether they would like to accept it or to deny it. And I must admit that it's quite a lengthy process. And I'm not 100% sure if I fully grasp it just yet, but I think it's about time we start bringing that topic to the foreground, that the more clever community members could possibly take the lead on this and help us understand. Well, I'm gonna take the first stab at it, and I'm gonna help you guys read through that post called Guidelines on New Proposals. How to submit a new proposal. You can actually find this post on the Decentraland forum. I know many of you don't even know what that is, even though I did bring it up a couple of times on my Twitter. Please do check out the forum.decentraland.org site. You will have a forum where you have to register. Yes, you do have to register separately, and please do so because you will eventually need that should you want to become an active member and an active participant in the discussions, everything related to Decentraland politics. Well, let's get into it. I'm going to read the first paragraph for you. Guidelines on new proposals. Proposals for common operations already supported by the governance app. And the governance app, real quick, this is actually something you can find on the Decentraland website. If you click on DAO and if you click on start voting, this is the governance app from what I understand. So now let's continue. Where is that thing? Here. Proposals for common operations already supported by the governance app, such as adding points of interest, adding a catalyst, or banning a name, don't require a forum post and can be dealt with completely on chain. These proposals may include a forum post anyway, allowing the author to explain their motivations. Well, what does that mean exactly? Well, let me help you with that. I still understand that part of the process. Basically, you can file a new proposal inside the DAO app. You can click on the new proposal button. And if you select, let's say, something like ban a name. So basically, there are 4 predefined activities that you can choose from. So if you click on ban a name, you can type in a name, you can confirm. I don't know what happens next, but I imagine you will have to use MetaMask to sign and to potentially even pay a fee. I have never tried it, but basically for this type of proposals, you don't actually need to submit any pre-proposal posts on the forum. The forum being the Decentraland forum here, forum.decentraland.org. So you don't need to make a post for any of the 4 standard activities. We will have to look at those 4 activities specifically, what they are, what they represent here. I think, adding a point of interest and banning a name is straightforward. I think the catalyst and the yes, no question are not quite straightforward for me just yet. Maybe they are for you, not for me. Let's move on. So on-chain can be dealt with completely on-chain, means we don't have to do anything inside the forum. We can immediately post it inside the DAO app. That's it, done. People can actually start voting for or against that proposal. Proposals that require on-chain changes, such as changing the DAO configuration, issuing funds for project, etc., should be reviewed by the SAB or technical community members. I don't know who those are, but somebody must be there, and include the proposed changes execution in the DAO vote. Example, don't issue a question vote if you want actual on-chain changes to be made. If you don't know how to get your proposal to be executed on chain, or if you are unsure if it's even possible, feel free to ask in your forum post. So I think this paragraph, I think it's actually stating something relatively simple, but it's quite difficult to understand the first time around. I've been reading this now a couple of times, and I'm slowly starting to get it. Basically, there are these 4 functionalities which we've looked at before that can be executed immediately without having any additional processes. But then if anything goes beyond those 4 ready-made activities, you actually need to consult with the Decentraland team and their technical community to see how to do it. I'm not gonna go any further, any deeper than that. You can actually also ask in a forum post, it seems. So I'll leave it at that, because I've tried getting into this in more detail. It becomes complicated, and I do not fully understand what those particular examples could be. So I imagine, oh God, can I come up with a proposal on the fly? Let's say we're talking about wearables proposals, like I tried doing in my pre-proposal post here, or if you want to read the newest guest artist wearables proposal that is currently being passed, like this kind of stuff cannot be dealt on chain with just any of these 4 pre-designed objects. So you need to actually create a pre-proposal post in that particular format. Now the question is, how does that format look like? And here you have 10 points that you need to stick to, and you actually have a template that you can use. And you can see here the template being used and shown to you. And I think when I did my proposal a couple of weeks ago, I managed to stick to it more or less, but I think this is definitely a more concise and more clear example on how to do so. So here is the actual template. Let's read through the requirements. So stick to the template below, straightforward. Write concise title with no number, straightforward. Add understandable summary, straightforward. Although not for all of you. I know the techies want to make it super complicated, but no, the point is it has to be simple. Add an abstract. What will be done if the DIP is implemented? Keep it below 200 words. Now, this is something that needs to be translated for the regular player. Like, what is a DIP? Like, what will be done if the DIP is implemented? What does it mean? What will be done by who? Or like, this sentence is not clear to me. I would love for someone to explain this. Write a longer motivation with links and references if necessary. Yeah, I mean, you want to describe what you're trying to say, and if there are links or references outside that you need to refer to, make sure to include them into that draft. Write a longer motivation with links. Yeah, we have that. Add specifications if necessary. I mean, that's almost obvious, but yes, be very specific. Formulate clear for and against positions. Yeah, I mean, this is basically the political part where you're trying to explain, hey, if you do that, this and this might be happening, which is amazing, and if you don't do it, then this and this will not happen, and it would suck. So there you want to sell your case, right? 7, you may include a poll to measure sentiment before sending on chain if you want. So now this one, I'm not sure how this is supposed to work. Where does that poll happen? Does that poll happen here in the forum? Or how is that supposed to work? Like, this is like point number 7 needs to have some additional explanation. Where does that poll, or is there a poll somewhere here? But no, here, everything that you see here is supposed to be, it's called on chain, right? Like, this is, yeah, so the poll is probably happening in the forum, or maybe even on Twitter. I don't fully understand here, like what this refers to. Would love to hear some details on that. 8, don't rush with putting a proposal on chain. Keep discussion going for at least 3 days. I mean, yeah, so basically, do not submit. And So how would you submit a new proposal here that is a little bit more complex? How would you do that? Like, so it's definitely not these two. Ask a yes or no question to the, so maybe is that poll they're referring to, or is it like, what is this? Add the new catalyst server to Decentraland. No, I think this catalyst server, this is something else. This is a total, like, this is a techie thing, some kind of additional server to support your application inside Decentraland. I didn't know you actually have to vote for that, but obviously you do. Yes or no question is maybe the poll. I'm not sure. So if we look at what has been done for this particular proposal here, right? Let's have a look. This is the actual question. So, okay. It looks like if you have a more complex DAO vote, it's usually going to be inside a question where you say, hey, would you like for this to happen? And here is the link to the forum. And then you can vote yes or no here. So if I understand this right, all complex DAO votes will always be handled with the yes or no question with the link to the forum, unless it is one of these three things: adding a server, which for the most part will not be relevant for anyone in our community. And after today's earlier video, community has become a really strange word. Banning a name, I mean, whatever, like adding a points of interest, straightforward. So, but for everything else, it's going to be the yes or no question. And before you can post that yes or no question on chain by officially submitting it to the DAO, they're basically encouraging us to create a post like that based on this template here, right? So don't rush with putting a proposal on chain, meaning here submitting that yes or no question. Don't rush with that. Have the discussion going on for 3 days here on the forum. Based on my experience, unless you tweet it out and actively promote your proposal, and even then most people are just not active enough to come and discuss this with you. I managed to get a little bit of a reaction from a couple of active community members, and yeah, it you actually you will have to communicate it outside of the forum for people to to engage with that proposal of yours. So yeah, I mean, keeping it for discussion for 3 days is a bit of an understatement. You might easily leave it for 30 days and keep on talking about it and making videos on it before you may actually submit it to the DAO via the yes or no question. Again, guys, I'm new to this just as you are, so I'm hopefully somewhat correct about some of these assumptions. I just wanted to go through with this so that you guys know what to do if you have a new idea to vote on. Submit the proposal on chain for voting using the government's app. So yeah, we've discussed that. Yes or no question if it's something complicated. And that's it. Once it's here in the DAO, it will look something like this. And then, yeah, I do not know how long it will take for this to be accepted or rejected. It may just be that you need to reach over 1% of the total token supply. So whatever the current token supply is, if you have voting power that is more than 1% of that, it will be passed as yes. So let's say one land is 2,000 voting powers, voting points. If you have around 530 or slightly something like that, if you have about 530 lands, maybe 550 lands, you will be able to pass a proposal like that. Now, who has 500 lands? Maybe the Decentraland team has 500 lands, or like a larger community of individuals. It's going to be hard. So let's say you have 100 lands, and now you still need 450 lands to pass a vote on your own. You would have to have a lot of mana. So you would have to register a lot of mana. So yeah, it's not that easy to pass a vote by yourself at your own will, right? Unless you are a mega whale. And it seems like this particular vote has been passed recently. And I imagine it's the Decentraland team who has the majority of these votes, plus someone who I think commented. I think it was here. Carl has commented that he voted yes, so he probably contributed his voting power, and the rest was probably the Decentraland team, just 1 million voting power. So for now, it seems like you can. The DAO is actually functional, right? And yeah, I mean, there is nothing else to say. We have the guidelines on how to submit a new proposal. We have the forum. We have an example of a already passed proposal, which is quite interesting. I didn't even know it existed. So the danger here is, of course, that now a lot of new proposals might be like just, put into here and passed if you have enough voting power without you ever actually noticing it. That's a whole different discussion. I think that's okay for now. But you can actually start working with this. Guys, I hope this was useful. I know I'm also quite new to the topic. I hope you appreciate that. I'm gonna stop here, and I see you in the next video. Take care.